The Shamu is a T1 pirate cruiser, but in reality it's just a shitty Malafats taken part in a paintball event, with a giant sign saying shoot me plastered to its face. It's a constant reminder to everyone that CCP can't balance their own game, even though the players can fucking balance the game for you. The Shamu is slow, takes 20 years to turn, takes an extra 20 years to actually kill anything because of its pathetic DPS, and lives in a meta where pirate cruisers roam around doing 3k a second, doing 650 DPS. With less effort than my CSM campaign.
Drop it.
But it still has a cruiser icon, which means people flying it think it will go faster than Sonic the fucking Hedgehog, and think that its weapon system can floor people faster than What the fuck is this bullshit? Holy fucking shit, this is so annoying. CCP, seriously. I can tell you that this is not the case. You are slower than a French tank driving forward, and your guns have an accuracy of Rockwell balance changes. So what do you use it for? I personally have no fucking clue. Considering pirate battleship prices, you may as well use a Balgorn for any situation. And if you want to go blasting fools in low security like the baller you are, use a crew, or I guess if you are an elite PvP pilot in low security space, it's a pretty good gate camping ship. The Shamu is sometimes flown like an Omen Navy issue with long range webs. Don't fucking do that. You may be tempted by the fact it uses fucking lasers and has a sort of same slot layout. It will not work as you don't have the range bonus or the Sanic to go fast. The best case scenario for you is active armor tank ships or paper tanked cruisers with no tank. But good luck finding a fight in this ship, as you're basically strapping stake to yourself as you walk into a lion enclosure. Even in the Alliance tournament with the reduced point cost, nobody used it cause it was fucking shit. It lives in a meta where the norm is linked battle cruisers with MLG quickscoping accuracy, or a point and click adventure game with day 1 or thrust DLC. It's not like CCP are terrible at balancing this game. This is how you fit your Vaporwave 2008 meme. You fit it like this. The Shamu has good base armor HP, so buffer tank is a good choice. If you're in tank space, use slaves, and get yourself a free Vexa strapped to your face. Now go out there, and die to a solo cruiser or some shit.
Hello everyone and welcome to Mindclash Podcast episode 36. The CAStaways episode.
I like that. Yeah, I'm glad you started talking because I was just going to keep dying laughing from the intro video.
I mean, my favorite part is when he memes to his own video of him blapping people in his rag.
Love it.
So good. Thanks, Real Road. Keep putting out the videos.
Yeah, so definitely this is the Mindclash podcast, and it's gonna be the what'd you call it? The CAStaway episode?
You can make any cast joke you want.
Just any cast joke. So we're calling it the CAS something because we have CAS, members of that corporation, which is Center for Advanced Studies. So we'll start doing some introductions and start talking about some stuff. I am KO, and I'm drinking my homemade brew tonight.
I heard a rumor you are no longer with your corp.
Well, that's a true story, actually. The rumor mill is true. The Entropy of Annihilation has indeed parted ways from Legion of Mortem very amicably. It was just they wanted to go over here, and we were like, oh, we don't want to go over there, we want to go over here. So now we're going to be with CO2. So I can hang out with the judge and pester the shit out of him.
Sweet.
What about you, Murdad? Who are you?
I'm Merdad. I am still a low-sex scrub. Despite the memes on Twitter, I am not in Delve. Yep, definitely not in Delve. If I was, I'd probably be losing Rorquals. Even though I don't have mind skills, I'd just find a way.
Alright, cool. So I'm going to go in the order in which I have it on the show notes. Ebag Trescientas.
I'm Ebag Trescientas. I am the closest thing that CAS has to a Diplo, which, given that we don't have directors or officials FCs or really any sort of position, means pretty much nothing at all.
Hey, it means something to me. I'm proud of you. All right, up next we've got Yellowman.
Hey guys, I'm Yellowman. I am the resident attacker of anything that I see out in space that's not in fleet. I like to take people out on roams, FC whatever fleets I can, and I don't usually come back home until we're all in pods.
I dig it. That's the way to do it. All right, up next no, we don't have that guy. Let's go with Hermes.
I'm a Hermes Multipass. Been flying with CAS now for about 2 years. I run Hermes Discount Drone Depot and Mining Equipment Emporium out of RF, keeping all of our new bros stocked with mining equipment, and like to go out in the hours before downtime and shoot at anything that moves.
Yeah, definitely. So the notes that I wrote down for you guys. Ebag is the wrangler, Yellowman is the AT manager, and Hermes is the night shift guy. That about sums it up?
That's correct.
It's pretty close.
Seems fair. All right, yeah. So we'll get to these guys in just a few moments. We're going to start covering some Eve news because there are indeed some things happening. Tomorrow is patch day.
Prepare your clients, back up everything, enter. Oh, your skill queue should be longer than 24 hours. Come on.
That might be longer. So yeah, there's going to be an update tomorrow. That's the May 9th update, which if you've been paying attention to anything related to Eve, you would know that is the Blood Raider capitals. So the shipyards, the capital ships, plex changes, sun visual effects, gifting, alliance logos and citadels, Concord ships, and more. I'm pretty stoked about this, but I wish I was in a space that I could actually get those Blood Raider things.
You just have to take it. Take it for your own.
I should do that. I'm just gonna take it.
I'm sure Giggs will get on with that plan. He's
Absolutely.
all about hating on the goons.
Yeah. So what are you guys looking forward to most in this update tomorrow?
The Suns? Seriously, the Suns?
Freaking cool.
We stopped our AT practice just to run over and check out the Suns. Like, okay, guys, let's stage the Sun because the fucking Suns. They're amazing.
I am curious to see the economic side of all the plex changes that they're going to be implementing, and how that starts affecting everything.
Oh, it's gonna be hell for a couple days. Absolute hell. The stock market's gonna crash. Plex prices are gonna go through the roof, and people are just gonna go crazy.
Definitely get your scamming character ready with one Plex sales.
At least one Plex, a billion-esque. Buy it today.
Refresh those contract slots.
Yeah, absolutely.
One thing about contracts is I think they're putting it up to 4 weeks tomorrow.
Yes, that is also correct. That is a slight change. It's going from
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
2 weeks. 2 weeks to 4 weeks. Awesome. We now have 2 extra weeks for all the crap that I don't want to take with me when I sell my stuff in a fire sale out of nullsec somewhere.
Mostly it's blueprint copies. I find them terrible to sell, and 2-week refresh on cheetahs. Ugh.
I'll buy BPCs. I got a shit ton of PI that I just left in Mencia.
Well, your first mistake was doing PI.
I love PI. It's my morning routine. Leave me alone. All right, other than that, the Alliance tournament, they've announced that you can actually start entering now. So if you got a team together, you got to enter now, but it's going to cost you 2,500 Plex. Isn't that like $1 million?
That's like $1 billion Plex. No, $1 billion. Billion-isk. I'll sell it to you right now.
But
$37,500 in real money.
But of course, that is now in the new mini-plex format, so I don't really know what that translates to.
5.
At least.
5
I guess
old
I could-
plex.
I guess I could do division or something like that.
Well, it's 500 per one, right?
Yep.
So yeah, 5.
Yeah,
And when you're
plus $100 ish.
And unless you're some elite PvP, getting your spot granted to you from last year, which you still have to pay the 5 old plex, 2,500 new plex fee. If you're bidding to get in, you have to do the same blind auction, but they're taking it in 2,500 plex increments.
Okay, real quick. Number one fan is asking about the Orem. The Orem is kind of going away. So tomorrow, if you have, what do we say it was, 1,000 or over? Was it 1,000?
Yeah, there's a minimum threshold.
But I think it was if you had 1,000 Orem or higher, that would be immediately converted into Plex, the Plexlings. But if you had under that, so 999 or whatever it was, and under, you had to have to wait for a couple more weeks before they actually go, okay, we'll convert your stuff. So it's going away ish, but Orem, bye, Felicia.
Yeah, you'll get the smaller amounts later, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I'm not even sure how much Orem I have.
Who knows? So while you're figuring out how much Orem you have, so if you want to do the Alliance tournament, go ahead and start applying now. Get your team together, play with your little Plexlings. But also, if you're interested in commentating, CCP is looking for commentators. They will fly you out to Iceland. You'll do all your commentating and all cool stuff on screen. You can apply to that on the same website. I'll go ahead and link that, but you can just search for AT Tournament XV.
Yeah, you got to have some knowledge of PvP. You have to be willing to talk into a mic like us idiots. And you have to be willing to fly out to Iceland for 2 weeks. They'll pay for you from any Iceland Air destination. But yeah, 2 weeks in Iceland.
Which would be dope. And it's summer, whatever that means to Iceland, but I'm sure it'll be a lot less cold than it normally is.
I mean, you'll have to wear one coat.
All right, cool. So moving quite along, I found something interesting on the Reddit today.
Is it how to unsubscribe?
I wish it was, but I haven't figured that one out yet. No,
Go
so
on.
apparently some individuals have figured out, first they were figuring out that you can unanchor your citadels, and then you'd have like a 3-week invulnerability. But now what it is, now these citadels are completely invulnerable because of this loophole that CCP has yet to address. And how it works is you anchor your Empire Citadel, you select your vulnerability timer to close at the same time the Citadel onlines, i.e. if Citadel onlines Tuesday at 1900, set vulnerability from Tuesday 1300 to Tuesday 1900. Next step, immediately start unanchoring the Citadel. This will result in the Citadel being alive and online for 6 days, then unanchoring before it ever reaches its first vulnerability period. Rinse and repeat forever.
I thought anchoring your citadel in HiSec was a good enough reason to be invulnerable.
I guess they needed more incentive. So
you guys must have a bunch of citadels in HiSec, eh?
I think we have what, maybe one?
And most of ours are in nullsec.
Do you run into issues with your HiSec one?
Most of the high-sec ones are anchored in far enough destinations away from the typical war deck systems to avoid most of that.
Sweet.
So yeah, that sounds kind of interesting. I wonder how long it's going to take for CCP to do something about that. We'll see. All right, so Blood Raider Capital Shipyard is releasing tomorrow. From what I understand, that's on Sissy, as reported by other players. Blood Raider Dreadnoughts will target and pod you. Do you think this will make it to TQ?
This was a thing with the drifters when they first implemented them too. I also saw that there was a Chemosh which is the Blood Raider Dread kill mail. Like an NPC kill mail. That might be coming to NPC capitals. Like perhaps like the spawns in Havens or Belts.
Oh, you're saying that the Blood Raiders went and attacked NPCs?
No.
Oh.
When you kill the NPC, you'll get a kill mail showing the amount of damage you did to it and who helped.
Yeah, tracking, yeah. For sure. Yeah, that'd be interesting. It'll give those high-set Care Bears something to brag about. Oh, I killed a Garista Pirate today. Here's the kill mail.
Killing one of those, like if they implemented the Titans, like that'd be a heck of a kill to just get out there. They also, Antiquarian mentioned in the update video that CCP put out today, listing all of the upcoming updates in 1.19.5, that they're gonna drop, the SOTOs are gonna drop all Blood Raider mods, so including officer mods. Which I thought was a nice little touch. I think officer mods being stuck in asteroid belt rats are a little bit antiquated.
Yeah, there'll definitely be some bling bling going on there.
Perfect for the Blood Raider officer mods for your Blood Raider caps.
OP. Alright, so that's that. Also tomorrow, just be prepared. They plan to end their NPC BPO seeding and the building of new starbase structures for the following starbase structure groups. That would be starbase compression arrays, starbase reprocessing arrays, assembly arrays, and starbase labs. So if you're building those things, might want to hurry it up or something.
Yeah, this is all part of that phase out plan coming towards POS, all POS modules everywhere.
Yeah, hint everyone, pauses are going to go away.
We can only hope.
This is a fact. But anyways, if you want to look at the patch notes are out for the 119.5 release. I'll go ahead and link that in the chat. But it's pretty lengthy. There's a lot of changes, a lot of tweaks, a lot of little nuances going on there, but it's worth a read.
I agree with Mike Azariah in chat there. Death to the boss.
I am curious to see if they're going to compensate people that already have current towers, especially the large faction ones, on how they're going to do that, or whether they're just going to say, well, they're worth nothing now.
I don't know that they've actually addressed what they're going to do with that. I mean, I'd imagine maybe we'll find out once they release other size citadels, or when they start talking about that.
They have mentioned a buyback program, so most POSs will still have some value in their returning them to CCP.
That would be good.
I don't know if it's going to trigger a gold rush the same way that I think the changes to outposts is going to cause come closer to the transition date.
As long as they do something, make some measure of compensation, or even if they figured out some way to convert it to make the towers into a citadel type in relation to the size of the tower or the value of the tower.
Yeah, would you want all of your POSs converted into Astra houses or Fortizars?
I would take it. No, it's when you look at it, it's fairly similar to the conversion that they did with the carriers when they made the rep carriers as opposed to the attack carriers.
I suppose they would have to allow you to choose one of three structures, right? You could either trade in your large boss for an Astra House, a Ritaru, or a one of the new drilling platforms, because they would all be equivalent, but players are obviously using bosses for all of those tasks and more, right?
Yeah, but then at least it gives them the option. When they log on after the patch, a little window pops up saying, hey, what would you like to convert this to? With giving you an option of 3 click-ons.
Or a trade-in at a certain vendor, Jita, Mar, Renz.
All right, looks like we have a quick little hot dropper. Bhale made it. So why don't you go and introduce yourself, man?
G'day guys. Yep. Bale Stives here. Yeah, generally crazy person and making Ebag face plant all the time.
All right, cool. Yeah, you're just right in time because just in a few moments we're gonna start rolling into what you guys are all about. Before we get into that, any other news or anything important that I might have missed?
Has anyone won the Wii Boar yet?
Oh, I forgot about that. I don't know. I think that it just came and went.
I think they mentioned if somebody got all the corpses.
I'm gonna check the Reddit if it's on there. I don't know. Good question. Well, maybe we'll ask Chintan next week
Yeah, he'll
how
tell
how
us.
that went down. All right, yeah. Other than that, we're gonna roll right into the spotlight of the week. So I hooked up with Ebag a few weeks back. He had mentioned to me about their corp, because I'm always kind of looking for new guys, and he mentioned Center for Advanced Studies. And yes, it's a corp that I had heard of before. I knew that it was NPC. I've seen them on kill mills before, but they just kind of seemed like randomly, you know, in the middle of other alliances or corporations. So I didn't really know, maybe just on a roam or something. But apparently, the Center for Advanced Studies is a lot more diverse than what I understood it to be. So we've got these guys who do different areas of activity within CAS, and they're going to talk to us about it. So, Ebag, do you want to kind of, since you're the Diplo, do you want to kind of give us a rundown of what CAS is?
Sure, absolutely. So CAS is obviously a large organization being one of the starter new corps. So as far as like looking at kill mills and stuff can be a little bit hard to sort the wheat from the chaff, see where the more serious groups are versus the guys sitting in Jita just ganking people or code alts or hot drop alts or what have you. But the group that I run with, which is commonly referred to as CCG or CAS Combat Guild, lives down in Syndicate and has lived there for the better part of a decade or longer, really. And generally is small micro gang PvP focused. We also have other groups such as CASMA or CAS Mining Alliance, which is up in high sec running mining fleets pretty much 24/7. And then a lot of other smaller groups that kind of form, come and go, doing Sisters of Eve missions or helping out newbies, running the epic arcs, things of that nature. So just a lot of different small groups doing different things, and a lot of people that kind of sort of happen to be moving in the same direction at the same time.
So now, when you say starter corporation, you're talking like when you start your character, that's one of the it's Galente, right? It's a Galente starter corporation that you go into like automatically.
Correct. It's you can choose between three different schools. Center for Advanced Studies is one of the three for Galente, and it's the hardest corp to get into and the easiest at the same time because you can never go back and pick it again. You have to re-roll your character.
Mm. I'm just looking real quick because I think that was my starter corp. So anyway, so yeah, starter corp. So now you mentioned these other groups. Are those groups separate corporations? Or those kind of like special interest groups?
Pretty much just specialty interest groups. We have different corporations that people run for different purposes. As you know, it can, up until recently, manufacturing was basically impossible without being in a player corp and things of that nature. So there's a lot of splinter corps floating around out there. But for the most part, even those guys consider themselves, CAS for life.
Nice. That's pretty interesting. Um, so yeah, you got these special different little groups. It's definitely a very unique corporation, to say the least. Um, so I mean, can other people try to come in after they've already created a character, or is it pretty
Yeah,
much just Galente?
Well, for the most part, most of our characters come from Galente because they are, born and raised in Kaz and find a group they're looking for someone to, pew pew with or PV with or whatever they're looking to do. And that's always been Eve's biggest struggle is how do you get people to go from starting out in the game and the MPE experience to being involved. If they don't get involved with something, they're going to leave. It's boring. So that's one thing that we try and do. And even some of the devs have said that, looking at the stats, Kaz is definitely the one that stands out and it's a little bit special, um, special in more than one way. But we, for the most part, we're pretty much not purple, shoot it for CCG, and the air group's pretty much welcome anyone. We have a lot of people that start off in CAS and go off to do other things. For example, we have a guy who runs incursions regularly. He's a goon now, which a lot of people are like, grr, but he's still a cool guy and still comes out and hangs out with us and shoots things.
Right on. All right, so my question to pretty much every one of you, you can go in whatever order you want. Like, what makes you decide to want to live in an NPC corporation? Is this your like only character, or is it just like one of your alts? Like, what is it about cast that brings you in there?
I'll go ahead and start that off. This is my main character. I do have a few other alts. They're not, despite what many people accuse of me, they're not squirreled away in culture, init, or goon, or any other player corp. Um, Primarily, I started in CAS, found a really good group of people to chill with, and just kind of decided I was going to stay there until I found something else that I got interested in. And the deeper I got into the Maid of Eve, the more I found that there are different groups in CAS that did different things. So you can pretty much play in just about every aspect of Eve, all within CAS, avoiding war decks and the drama that tends to happen, as we've seen lately in some of the wars.
Nice. All right. Who's next? Go with Bale. What about you?
Um, well, when I first started playing, I was basically ninja mining in wormholes and nullsec. I was basically like not even a week old, and I was down there. I was first pointed down to Cas mining, Casma. That was a while ago. Then Ebag found me in wormholes. I think he first killed me, then he recruited me. So we jumped
That's
into
nice
the
of him.
wormholes. Yeah, well, he normally does that to me. He kills me, then he recruits me. Um, yeah, he had me down there, and yeah, we were in wormhole space for in a C1, and then somehow we ended up down in Syndicate, and yeah, then I got bored or lazy. You take the choice, and we took Sov.
Okay, so you say you took Sov. How is that?
Well, it was basically was it we took a system that there was no one there. Um, Looked at it, no defense. Um, I think the corporation was trying to sell it actually, so we got lucky on that one.
All right, so it's an NPC corporation. So did Cass hold the Sov, or did you have to have like a holding corp?
No, we have a
Yeah.
holding corp
Oh,
like most player corps do. Most player corps, the main corp that everyone's in isn't actually the corp that holds the SOV.
okay, yeah, because I was curious about that because I saw that you guys held Sov, and I'm just thinking like, man, how do you do that as an NPC corp?
I mean, it's
Like,
Cloud Ring. I mean,
Oh, but
yeah, it was
still,
to be fair, it was a system that they tried selling, nobody wanted. They tried giving away, nobody wanted. So they didn't really care. And it's kind of advantageous for some of the groups up there to have us in there because we act as a bit of a buffer from peeps coming in and harassing them.
honestly, it just gives you a heads up that when you fly through there into Syndicate, you're just going to run into a gate camp and die.
awesome.
Well, you only die to a gate camp if you're bad.
Oh, I'm pretty bad.
or you've been blocked.
Yeah.
That
It
are you?
is. It is fun as a pretty high traffic system too. That we do end up getting a lot of people rolling through, and we get some really fun fights out of it.
Yeah. I had some good fights in my history against Cast and Castawouts, and mostly in Syndicate. And yeah, there was always like, oh, I'll just go underestimate these guys who are in NPC Corp. Oh, shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have done that. Learned real quick.
I'm just trying to check my kill board, see if I've ever been caught by you guys. Maybe not.
Who's up next?
Hermes?
Well, I found my way down to these guys in Syndicate about 2 years ago. I was just care bearing it up in HiSec, running TED combat sites and everything. When I can't believe nobody's mentioned it yet, too. In the Corp chat, someone had posted something about Cast Combat Day. And I'm like, wow, what is this? It's like, hey, come try out PvP. Cast Combat Day is an event that we do about every 6 weeks or so, ideally. And it's an open fleet where I show up with a ship and come get to learn some PvP, like fleet things, watch us all get vaporized over and over again. We have handout ships for everybody. And it was a ton of fun, and I just kind of found myself slowly moving my way down to Syndicate. And since then, it's been just so much fun flying with these guys. I can't really imagine going elsewhere.
Neat. All right, Yellowman, it's up to you to wrap that one up.
I don't think I can match up with CCG, but I guess just to roll out the way I first started this game, when I first jumped into it, I looked at the game, and it was a gorgeous game. Best graphics I've seen for a massive online game, and I was just so excited to do it. And I got bored very quick with mining, and then I got bored very quick with mission running. And I was just like, I want to shoot something. So I started stealing everybody's cans I could and try to get anybody to shoot at me. And I joined a small corp with a buddy of mine, and the first time we went out to Nullsec, we were just like, hey, let's just fly down there. It's supposed to be real scary. So we took a pair of Ishkers, went down into Nullsec. I don't remember what system, but we went into our first bubble, and there's a big gate camp of like 20 guys there. So my adrenaline's pumping and my hand's shaking, and I'm all excited. I'm like, oh God, we're going to die. So I just got completely hooked on PvP. So I said, well, you know what? I just want to kind of live out in Nullsec, to a point. And I made my way down to Syndicate, back near when this first started. And I noticed a bunch of guys were just flying around out there, and I'm flying around in my, in an Arazu. And I saw a couple of guys flying around in frigates, a couple of guys that were mining. So I went and I blew up a couple of them. And one of them private messaged me and said, hey, we're Cass. Do you want to fly with us and kill people? I was like, okay, sure. So here I am.
Nice. So it looks like Hermes has been called out in the chat channel. You want to respond to this? The question or the thing is, I allowed Hermes Multipass to safely navigate through my gate camp yesterday in hopes I would receive a shout out on the podcast. So far disappointed. And this is from Tress Penn.
Trey, I appreciate you letting me sneak through in the Vexer. Well, it's unfortunate too because one of our late night activities always used to be to hang out and PF one of the entrance systems into Nullsec from HiSec. And Trey Pay, he's got a great group of guys that they fly with, and we scruffle with them every now and then in PF. But there's been some political changes in the neighborhood. We got some new neighbors, and it's a little bit more difficult. So I had to run through those guys in LoSec yesterday, but I appreciate it, Trey.
It's another pilot I've died to way too many times.
Who's that, Trey?
Trey. Yeah, I used to live in FD. It was good. Good times. Or PF? Nice. Which one? Is it FD and then PF? Oh man, it's been too long.
Definitely. Yeah, PF and then FD. Yeah, I've got killed from him a few times before too.
I still got shit there. I'm not enough to evac, but I still got shit there.
Right on. So man, it's pretty much seems like you guys have like PvPers, miners. You've definitely got people who are nullsec. You got people who are in HiSec, LowSec, faction warfare. I'm guessing.
Yep, we sure do. Unfortunately, the guys who couldn't make it today. He does a lot of faction warfare. Again, his main is in CAS, his alt is in FW, but he'll lead out a couple guys, and mostly around the Orville area, north of there, Blackrise, that area.
He's the reason that my security status is constantly dropping.
I have an ult for that.
So from what it seems like, you guys kind of use CAS as like your main hub for getting together, but you do fly separately from CAS from time to time, but together.
Yeah, it's a very open fleet. There's CCG down Nullsec is a not purple shoot fleet, so we get people from all over New Eden joining us. Sometimes once, sometimes they come to live there. We'll, like Trace Payne was called out. We've shot at him a bunch, and then one night we teamed up with him and helped whelp a whole bunch of inits, very shiny cruisers and battleships, which was a delicious 1 hour long fight. So we're pretty flexible and not afraid to shoot at people, not afraid to fly with them. If there's a bigger target to hunt.
It's kind of the syndicate lifestyle, though, isn't it? Small groups, their own little pocketed syndicate. Everybody's kind of safe, but hostile, but neutral, But when called upon, like, everybody's kind of on good enough terms that they'll come together and fight a bigger entity.
Yeah, we've got frenemies all over the place.
I love that. So, is there any one person, in anyone's opinion, or is there something official that says somebody's in charge? Like, is there like a leader?
No.
No.
And that's one of the good things about it too. I mean, we're cohesive to a point. I mean, we have our own kind of rules as far as just how to behave around each other. We avoid arguments. We avoid foul language as much as possible in the chats because we know we have younger people playing or people with families in the background, different things like that. But otherwise, we've been together so long that it's just kind of a community of pilots that all kind of come together. And really one of our biggest roles is teaching new players. And that's one of the reasons why we've grown so big as a community in CAS, because we'll have players that are 3 days old and we're teaching them how to do PvP, which is the most elaborate concept of EVE as a pilot, where you have this game that facets into so many different directions, and you have somebody who's barely touched the controls, and all of a sudden now they're being taught how to do something that's, to me, the most fun aspect of the game. And for many people, that's what gets your blood pumping, and it keeps people here. And I think that's one of the reasons why we get shout outs from CCP on doing this. It helps drive people into nullsec, as Ebag was talking about earlier.
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome.
You forgot about industry as well. Like, we're very self-sufficient down in Syndicate.
Right. So it's basically a loose group of friends who all like doing different things, but you all just like hanging out together. That's pretty cool. So how do you guys hang out? You guys hang out on team? You got a TeamSpeak or a Mumble?
We just use Eve voice, really. I mean, we all get in a fleet chat. If you're not in fleet, you'll get shot, and just kind of plan on that, really, in general. But it's a matter of, while everybody's in fleet and people are on voice, everybody's kind of doing their own thing. But then if a call comes out, hey, there's a group coming through over here. Hey, anybody want to fight? And people X up in fleet, and everybody just kind of drops what they're doing, and then we all kind of come together cohesively, and it's pretty awesome when inside of a minute you have 20 people all of a sudden on a gate ready to fight.
This is just crazy to me. I knew there was Eve voice, but I thought it was just one of those things that they had for show. But you use it. That's amazing.
And most people don't even know we have it.
I mean, I know it's there, but I was like, I'm not using Eve voice. We got TeamSpeak and Mumble and Discord and all them fun things. But man, this really intrigues me. Like, you guys are doing something that I don't think a whole lot of people are aware of.
We try to take advantage of every aspect of what Eve is offering. Eve voice, and I will, say it plainly enough, it had a lot of problems for a lot of years, especially in the start of this game. But it's evolved to the point where it has, very little issues. So if we use it all in the thing, use it all in the game, and we try to make it so that we don't force people to have to get any other third-party software just to be able to play and fly with us. We We want to be able to say, all right, you have Eve, and that's all you need, and let's go shoot people.
That's just wild, man. Just wild. All right, so I know you guys got it's CAScorporation.com. There's I want to say I saw forums on there. Yes. Do you guys have forums on there?
Yeah, we do. I don't think I have even signed up. I don't think.
But yeah, so if anybody's interested in finding out more information, you can go to CAScorporation.com, and it just kind of gives a brief. I was looking at it earlier today. Brief overview. They've got like skill trees and the best ship skills, their aggression rules, some resources. You can even do a buddy trial on there. All kinds of fun stuff. Oh, and I see that there's different language chat channels.
I think there's also for PI as well. I think we've got stuff just for general like specific areas in Eve.
Right.
Yeah, most of our communication happens in game. We have different special interest group chat channels that are pretty much open for the most part, and anyone can join and come and hang out. And if they're interested in exploration or PV or PvP, whatever.
Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about a little bit more about the special interest groups, otherwise known as SIGs. Like, what are some of the really in-depth ones?
Well, the two that have been mentioned, CASMA and CCG, those are by far and large the two largest ones. The next more common one would be we have a guy that runs incursion fleets regularly. A couple times a year, he'll get people who have never done incursions, some people who may not even be fully trained into flying an incursion ship, even a T1 ship. Take them out, explain them what it's about, how to do it safely, all that sort of fun stuff. We also have a couple guys that run regular PVE fleets. So they'll, post in a mailing list or post in a channel, when the next PVE fleet is, and they'll get a bunch of newbies out. Sometimes they're flying, T1 fit destroyers or ridiculous things like that. And they'll be doing level 4 missions, to help boost standings and kind of give new players a kickstart to getting on their way in New Eden.
Nice. Yeah, Murdad, you mentioned that in chat. You're saying that trying to use Eve voice as opposed to Mumble, TeamSpeak, Discord. I know some people use like Razer comms or who knows what else. Instead of doing that, same way we have all these different social media aspects that all kind of just lead back to the same place. It's like it's simplified. It makes it easier just to say, hey, we're on Eve. Use the built-in Eve voice. It's clever.
Yeah, for sure. I've fucked up your video and therefore fucked up your sound for some reason, but I will fix that. Yeah, the eVoice I haven't used for like 4 years, but I thought coming into the game that was how people should communicate, right? Using the in-game tools. And as a new player, like learning all of the out-of-game tools is just super overwhelming. Like there's enough in the game to be overwhelmed. You don't need to get overwhelmed with all of the tools outside the game, no matter how much they simplify the more complicated aspects. For instance, .lam or Pyfa or Siggy or something like similar to that.
Yeah, it does kind of amaze me, every time we talk about things like that. That why are these things not built in? I know now we have the ghost fitting tool in Eve, but you would just think that they would start building some of this within inside the client. I mean, either by hiring some of these guys or paying for them for their code that they've been using something. But it's like, especially now that the out of game or the in-game browser is gone, because now we've got a alt tab or have another screen just to go do these things. Whereas before we could have it, in the client, but it's kind of taxing.
Yeah, and if I can, hopefully without rabbit trailing too much,
Yeah.
a lot of those third-party tools, like say, for example, Pyfa, is open source and has a very complex history with many devs involved with it. So simply trying to find one person to take that and utilize aspects of that would be difficult, to say the least, partially because CCP would have to open up their own source code. So I think that's going to be the problem for a lot of these third-party apps.
Yeah, for sure. It would be nice to one day have everything, just everyone together in harmony and holding hands and singing Kumbaya. But this is Eve, and we hate everybody, so probably not.
I mean, everybody has a certain tool that they like, right? And it would get overwhelming if you tried to bombard a miner with all of the intricacies of Pyfa and Pirate's Little Helper, and there's new tools for like FW and for wormholes. Like, if you're never going to explore wormholes, you don't really need to know about the wormhole tools. But hopefully at some point you bump into someone experienced enough to explain to you how wormhole tools work, or explain to you that there are kill boards, or that you can get apps that help inform you, like how hostile a player is when you come into local, or even just the basics, like changing your overview. Like,
And not mining AFK in wormhole space.
oh, geez, yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys have a wormhole group?
We did actually for quite a while, for what, about a year and a half, would you say, Bhale?
Yeah, close to 2 years, I think. Me and Ebag, we kind of jumped in there.
Yeah, we had a C1 without any effects, with a high sec static, trying to make it easy for new bros to get into, which we partially succeed. We got a lot of people in there doing PI, and fortunately, as anyone who's lived in W space knows, trying to sustain any sort of PvE in W space is difficult as best.
And logistics as well, like killing pauses. We had like a few pauses in there. One was just specifically set up for people who were in CAS or not even in a corp to actually like live there.
I think Twitter's broken.
Is it?
Can't twit or tweet.
Too many GIFs?
Too many dank memes. Just exploded Twitter. Yeah, I think it's really crazy and fascinating that you guys, you're an NPC corp. There's nobody really in charge. You use all internal communications. Everything's loose. People can do what they want to do, but you still seem to like get together immediately. Like, you say you put out a ping or notification inside the corp chat channel. Hey, something's going on here, and you all just like swoop in. And like sometimes in like even bigger nullsec alliances or corporations, you get small form ups, and it takes we got to ping a day in advance and put it in our Discord and send it out on what's that thing people use to send messages? It's like an IRC type thing.
Jabber.
So they give you Jabber pings, and hey, make sure you log in tomorrow at this time, and but you guys are just like, hey, who wants to go do this? Boom, people are there.
Might be one of the reasons people call us blobbers every now and then, because we think half of our fleet is AFK. We're just like, hey, I got such and such tackled in this system. Next thing you know, there's 20 pilots there just piling onto them.
Yeah.
And then you'll have half a dozen guys too that are halfway AFK in the game. They just have the thing on, and they're sitting on their couch watching Netflix or something, and all of a sudden somebody jumps on audio and says, hey, X up in fleet if you're ready to fight. And they jump off the couch, get on the computer, and undock, and they've been AFK for an hour and a half.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I play Eve. Except for it's not Netflix. I watch a lot of Amazon stuff.
I mean, another advantage is you don't have much to lose as far as SOV. You must have assets, but there's no corporate hangars, so there's no assets to steal. So you can have no less than 12 Black Legion spies, and as long as they're helping the fleet, it's all good, right?
At least.
And really the core of people, I mean, there's a core group, kind of core group of veteran players. I've been around since near the start of it. Ebag's been around for a while, and Vic and Boyd and Nico and all these guys that have kind of been there forever. And occasionally someone jumps in and sort of takes the reins on something, and nobody really argues with it. Yeah, everybody's just like, well, we know them. We've flown with them for a long time, and we just accept it. We do a good job, and then we move on to something else.
You know what I think I'm gonna do? I don't know when. Don't hold me to it, but I'm definitely gonna roll a Galente character, a new Galente character, and put myself into CAS because this sounds like some pretty cool stuff you guys got going on. You just gotta help me with those new bro fits. You know what I mean?
I will sorry, scared you.
And one thing that, one of the things that we do to help the new players that we bring out there, you have these new players that have no assets out in nullsec, have a pain in the neck trying to get things out, get things out there. It's one thing just to try to travel just from Orville to get out to Syndicate because you get to go through PF, the permanently bubbled system, or nearly permanently bubbled. So we have logistics where we have freighter runs where people can put in orders. We'll fly a bunch of ships and fits down for the guys just to kind of kick them off and get them started. One thing that I've always tried to do when I take people out on roams, if I'm the one FC in the roam, anytime somebody loses a ship, and we very rarely go out shiny, we'll go out in a lot of T1 ships, so they're easily replaceable. So if someone loses a ship, when we get back, we're replacing it for you. So you didn't lose anything.
Yeah, that's one thing that constantly amazes me about the group, especially down in Syndicate, but in the other groups too, is that if somebody shows up and they're like, hey, I just started the game, I want to go do this, and I have no idea what I'm doing, I don't have any ships here, you'll have 3, 4, 5 people show up that are just ready to give ships away, fully fit, and just, here, try this one, see if you can fly it. Okay, how about this one? How about this one? Just keep it all, get blown up, and you'll have replacement ships down the road.
It looks like there's a question from the audience. Mirda, do you want to ask that?
Yeah, Trace Payne asks, how does CAS deal with all the powerhouse changes in Syndicate? Does this affect operations?
Not really.
Sometimes it does to a certain extent. There's been events that happened depending on who's living in the area. For a while, Goonswarm was trying to claim ownership of Syndicate as much as one can. So they pretty much just bubbled every station that was hostile. Goonswarm's out and Kaz is still here. We've had other times when Fidgel just decided to do structural war on everyone and destroy everyone else's structure, and they're gone and Kaz is still here. So we kind of just if there's somebody super hostile to us in the system, we just pretty much sit back and wait it out. That's one of the great things about the other special interest groups is when Fidgel was waging their war, a lot of people came to the wormhole group that was running at the time, so gave them opportunities in other places of space, maybe things they wouldn't normally see or do.
Sweet, yeah.
Well, and then the same side too, you also have the the little guerrilla tactic stuff too. Nobody wants to go out against Goon when they're sitting there with their 20 capitals ready to hot drop you and stuff like that. So as like Ebag said, all right, we'll wait around, but then we'll look for targets of opportunity. I'll take a small, tightly knit group of cove frigates or something small, and we're just gonna go and kill some juicy target that's being an idiot, or some tail gunner that they have in a room. Kill them, leave, go back, and then it just annoys the piss out of them until the point where they're just like, I'm tired of this.
Now we used to make fun of that guy.
Earlier you mentioned spies. Kaz has been around long enough and is big enough that we do have a lot of spies. So there's more than once where I'm pretty sure somebody used the recon from that was happening in Kaz to set up their own operation on some side channel.
I mean, in reality, it doesn't take a whole lot to spy because they just roll the character, get into the NPC corp, and if you're on comms and they're listening. So yeah, it can be kind of difficult to have a certain level of OPSEC.
Well, it can to a degree, but realistically speaking, the only thing the spy can really do is try to sabotage a roam or something like that, and get a big fight in there. Which honestly, we don't care that much about because we're there to fight stuff anyway. I mean, as long as it's not completely and utterly lopsided to where it's just like, well, this is stupid. Somebody comes with 5 guardians and a giant, fleet of stuff. Oh, we're there to fight people. So, okay, spy and bring us a fight. I appreciate it.
Yeah, content. What's up? So now, I know who was it, Yellowman, that you do some of the Alliance tournament stuff. So do you guys fly in the Alliance tournament, and do you do that with CAS?
Well, this we had for a number of years, and we did it with castabouts. And this past Alliance tournament, I got to lead it with Nico and Ebag helped out a lot, and a handful of others. And CCP was actually pretty generous with allowing us to use some regular cast members and let them fly on our alliance team. They understand our situation on how we fly and the way we do things, and many of our pilots just didn't have the desire to be in part of that alliance, so they allowed cast members to be in it. And it was a good experience for a lot of them. And there was one of the pilots that flew in, I think, our third or fourth match, and she was all of 4 months old, and she did very well. And we're competing against some of the most skilled players in Eve, and you're that young. I mean, it says something about how this game can be played if you have the right mentors teaching you.
Nice. That is pretty cool.
What's your kind of finishes? How well have you done?
I think this last year we advanced the furthest that we did. We got through to the way that they restructured it this time. We got to the fourth round, I believe, by the time we finished everything, and we got knocked out by our fourth match there. But it was still the best that we've done so far, and I'm hoping we can carry it even further. We had a lot of people come out for the practices in this past year, more so than we've had before, and I'm so amazed and proud of all the people that kind of just drop what they're doing to come out on a weekend to fly with us. More than half of them didn't fly in the tournament, but that's not what they were there for. They were there to have fun. You learn so much about PvP when you sit there and scrimmage against one another. We learn about how we fly in PvP together and how cohesive we can be, and it just works together when we go out and fly in game, because we know how we fly, we know how to communicate, we learn the tactics of one another, and it just helps.
I mean, that's something that could be said about any player who's watched the Alliance tournament in the past or hears people talk about it. Go join an alliance that has an Alliance tournament team, or if you're an alliance of a significant size, just start an Alliance tournament team. It's pretty easy to practice. Thunderdome is super simple to use once it's open at the 27th of this month. Just apply and throw in the 2,500 plex, and just
2,500.
Just get your name in there. It is an amazing experience from all that I know. I am super stoked that hopefully Iron is in this year and I can join for the first year in the Alliance tournament. But I've enjoyed watching it, and from everyone I've talked to, the Alliance tournament is an amazing experience. No matter what your skill level, there's always a need for a Griffin pilot as much as there is for a max skilled Marauder pilot.
Unless you're PL and decide to boundary violate.
Well, that doesn't take as much skill.
Well, and I could say honestly, I've had the most fun. I've enjoyed everything that I've done thus far in Eve. But when I did the Alliance tournament and actually in the matches, watching them stream it live, having a bunch of friends over with pizza and drinks and everything, and watching me compete in the Alliance tournament with all these other people, it's just a very amazing experience.
Yep. Do it. Don't hold back. Don't wait. Don't wait for next year. Just go do it.
Do you think I could get on the CO2 team? Probably not, right?
Show up, practice. You'll get on the team.
Because I'm a celebrity?
Nah, because you'll show up and practice. I mean, most teams, they'll just take you because you've practiced. You've been there, you've put your time in, you've served. As long as you get the skill points to fly the ships required, you should be, a viable member of the team.
And one thing we looked for when me and Ebag were, looking at the different, team members, and Nico, when we were picking the different guys as we went through the matches, I just looked at, okay, who practiced, who didn't give us any trouble, who followed orders when we did this stuff. As long as they did their best, I don't care. I want somebody who's going to be able to follow the commands of the FC, and then just do what they're told, so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I really don't have too many more questions. Murda, do you have any more questions?
I don't know the funniest kill you've gotten in Syndicate.
Who did?
Oh, there's a lot of those.
I know. I got one ready, so.
Well, let's hear him.
One of you guys go first, because I'm juggling between 3 different ones right now.
I'm thinking of when we got Doomsdayed.
Oh, that was a good one.
So it was CAS Combat Day, and we had about 70 to 80 pilots out, mostly newer pilots in T1 frigates and cruisers, and we went up through Fade, I believe it was, and got past a gate camp with Titan on gate, and then decided to turn around, come back, and landed on a bubble right as the Titan doomsdayed the entire fleet.
Just like pure happenstance.
They were set up ready for us, but it was just hilarious watching 70 pilots just all walk right into a doomsday.
Bosonic or Lance?
I believe it was the Bosonic, if I'm not mistaken.
You know, I don't even think I would get mad if I was doomsdayed. I'm just like, yeah, I just got doomsday. That's pretty dope.
That's the great thing about us. We all had our home station set, so we all popped back up in the system, handed out new ships, and just laughed about it and shipped out again.
Nice.
I think that was like a defining moment of CCD. That's like we've never had been doomsdayed before.
Yeah, Orion's a solo friend of the show, was complaining about it in Discord today about how many times he's been bosoned, and I haven't yet. I should knock on wood, but yeah.
Yeah, I've never been doomsdayed, actually. Never ever.
You should try it. It's fun.
Yeah, I should. Just give it a go. Give it a little whirl.
Fly your cap in CO2. You'll probably get a chance.
Yeah.
My funniest kill mail was camping the FD gate one night when I was hanging out with Suas and the guys who lived in there, and I was scouting the other side, and in from high sec comes a freighter, not a jump freighter, an old school, no jump drive freighter, and I call it out in comms. Check, guys. There's a freighter on scan. Yeah, right. Ha. That's funny. No one who's gonna bring a freighter to nullsec. Are you kidding me? You serious? No way. Guys, the freighter's landing on gate. Hold on, what? There's a freighter on gate. Yeah, no, I'm serious. There's a freaking freighter on gate. It's jumping right now. It's jumping. Okay, we'll bubble up. Jeez, bubble up. All deeps on the freighter. This has got to be bait, guys. This has got to be bait, guys. He doesn't have a Sino. Like, this doesn't have any mod slots. This was before the rig changes.
Makes no sense.
He's going down. Well, that was hilarious. Always bring your freighter to try to do a courier contact to Poitot.
Wow. And that was a CAS?
No, it wasn't a CAS. It was just a random day in Syndicate.
Yeah, it's amazing the people that bring like orcas or whatever through that PFFD pipe.
Oh, that's definitely been me. I've done that. I've made some daring and bold moves in an orca and have lived to tell about it. I definitely have made 40 jumps in one sitting in an orca and lived to tell the tale.
Did you have scouts?
No, that was all by myself.
Props to that.
Yeah, Aussie.
I think my favorite one was this is about 4 years ago. We were out in I want to say it was BMN. We were just kind of roaming around, and there was this one guy who was flying around in this Mercurial, kept kiting everybody, and luckily we just ended up catching him at some point, and we popped him, and he was very expensively fit, and ended up being a little over a 4 bill as kill. And it had faction mod stuff, and there was one officer thing I think on there. And after we killed the guy, I get a private message from the leader of this guy's corp saying, "Hey, we're never letting that guy fly again. We're kicking him out of the corp." And I was like, "Hey, I'm sorry, what happened? He just did a good fight." And he said that was our flagship for the Alliance tournament that's happening next week. And I was like, I didn't know what to say, so I just came on and said, well, good luck in the tournament. And flipped off.
Oh man, that'd be horrible.
Was it like Rote or somebody?
I don't want to say who it was because we actually competed and skirmished with them last year, and we're actually kind of cool with them now. So I'm just going to leave that one alone.
We'll speculate.
I got a couple
Just
guesses.
You'd probably figure it out if you really wanted to, but I'm not saying it.
Good times in Syndicate.
It's all fun.
All right. Well, I wish we had more questions for you. You know, I'd like to pick your guys' brains more, but I know you definitely probably got some things going on. I know I definitely have some things I got to do early in the morning. So, Meredith, if it's cool with you and cool with you guys, do you want to start wrapping things up on this episode?
I have one more question.
Okay, one more.
A more serious question. Has any other groups from any of the other NPC starter corps, because obviously there are, 3 for each faction, tried to do the similar thing, or was there at one point different starter corps operations similar to your own, but for the other factions?
Not that I've ever seen. I don't know about the other guys.
There are a couple that I've heard of that do some pretty basic like PvE stuff. So they just a little less toxic than most of the starter corps, or the fail out corps, where you go if you leave your corp. But yeah, there's nothing to the extent of CAS. As far as I know, CAS is the only NPC corp that has had somebody on CSM, Bunny Yip, way back when, done AT, done Neo, does the regular, big roam CCDs, all that to that level of extent.
So you're saying CAS, only NPC worth joining?
Absolutely.
That is correct.
You heard it here
At least
first.
you have.
Well,
Go into
really,
it.
we have veteran players that are either a jack of all trades or a specialist in some facet of the game. So we're able to cover every aspect of it. So if a player wants to do something, then we can kind of offer that.
It's kind of like, how I was trying to do my little helper channel thing. You guys kind of pretty much have it in the bag because you are legitimately a starter corporation. And when people first join the game, I mean, that's probably the first place they're gonna talk in for the most part. You got veteran players there ready to answer questions left and right. I think that's pretty much what we need all around.
It's definitely helpful for them.
Yeah. So yeah, I definitely dig what you guys are doing. I think it's some good stuff. Obviously, you're churning out some good PvPers. You're teaching guys how to do nullsec operations, wormholes, and faction warfare, and all the whole gambit. So you're definitely doing a service to the new bro community. That's for sure. Yeah. So like I said earlier, you can find your guys' corporation at CAScorporation.com if you want to join. I guess the best way to do that is to start a brand new character. Make sure you roll Valenti and choose to go through the Center for Advanced Studies path, and there you will be.
And the mining fleet as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the 2 big channels we have in game, CAS Combat Guild, CAS space Combat Space Guild. Anyone can join for the most part. We do have a few groups blocked who have AWOXed us in the past. That's the nullsec mining or PvP group, although we do a lot of mining and other things. And then CAS Mining Alliance, CAS Space Mining Space Alliance. That is our high sec mining group. Both those channels are pretty much open to anyone. If you can join channel, you can X up and come have fun with us.
Nice. I dig it. All right. So I don't know if I know a few of you might have listened to the show before, but near the end of the show, we like to ask our guests, and Meredith and myself, we mention a podcast or something, doesn't have to be Eve related. It can be anything else that you've been listening to, or if you haven't been listening to podcasts, maybe you're watching a new TV show or reading a book or something that you want to plug. Just a quick, 30 seconds to a minute of what you're into right now.
Go first.
I'll start off from the for this. I've actually been listening to the S Town podcast. I really, really wish I could remember who it was that recommended that to me. I don't know if it was last episode or maybe a few episodes ago, but somebody said they were listening to the S Town podcast, and I decided to give it a listen, and I really, really recommend it. What it is a reporter from This American Life gets a phone or email from a guy in Alabama, and he wants him to help solve a murder mystery that might have been happening in his town. It's a real story. It's nonfiction. It's really in depth. It really deeps into the mind of the backwoods southern areas of Alabama that you may have not seen before. It's pretty good.
Sweet. This week I listened to the inaugural episode of Fit Fleet, which is Eve Best of Us project with a couple of his buddies. Not gonna say the first episode was perfect. A couple of gremlins. Mike must have been hanging around in the wings, but they are going to push for like a community / Twitch stream about how to get us Eve nerds or keep us Eve nerds in shape. And through that motivation today, I definitely took the advantage to just go out and do some working out around my house and ran a little bit around the block. And it's nice to have that little extra push that you can go into a group of people and brag about your 2-kilometer run or 20 more push-ups than you did yesterday. So check it out. That's Fit Fleet. I can find out what they're... Just look for it on Twitch.
Hashtag FitFleet. Yeah, that reminds me. I'm doing the Murph tomorrow, wearing body armor. It's gonna suck.
I don't know what that means, but I think it's sweaty.
Yeah, the Murph is a WOD, a little workout of the day, and it's basically named after Murphy from the movie about the Navy SEAL guy. So a real life dude who died, and it's in honor of him. But it will kick your ass, and we're going to be wearing full armored body armor kit.
I've just been binge watching TV series. I've been watching Sense8. A new TV series that's out is American Gods, good old Flash, and what was it? What was the other one? Heroes Tomorrow.
Yeah, I definitely do like Sense8, but fair warning, if you're not into non-hetero scenarios, maybe you should not watch it. But if it doesn't bother you, feel free, because it's a pretty cool show.
Nah, fuck it. Watch it. Expand your mind.
Do it anyway.
Yeah, I think Sense8 goes against the normal TV genre.
Yeah, definitely deep and different. All right, who's next? Ebag?
I'm going to get a little meta here and say Mind Clash. This is actually the second time I've listened to this podcast.
Did you listen to any other podcasts before?
That's correct.
Cool. What about you, Hermes Multipass?
I just finished up reading the 5th book of the Expanse series, and I'm waiting on Amazon to get me number 6 right now. And listening to the Black Angels while doing PI for hours on end.
How would you say that the books compare to the TV series?
I watched the first season before I read any of the books, and I really liked season 1 of the TV show better than the first book. But after that, I like the books quite a bit more, just because of the level of detail that they get into with the characters and kind of like their whole inner thought process of everything that's happening around them.
Yeah, I kind of assumed that the story between Julie and what's his nuts. Probably a little bit deeper in the books.
And how does it pace book to TV?
The TV show makes everything seem like it's happening in, just rapid succession. Like, the books give you a much better feel of, like, basically the size of the solar system, because they talk about how it takes, weeks, even at, like, pretty fast speed to get from one place to the other. The TV show, it makes it all seem like everything is just happening at once.
Oh yeah, of course. But like, is season 1 equivalent to book 1, or?
Oh, I gotcha. Season 1 definitely follows book 1 almost to a T. The second season, which just finished up, finishes just short of the end of the second novel.
Interesting. And how many books are there total?
At present, there are 6. The 7th one, I believe, is coming out in December of this year. I think there's a few more that are scheduled afterwards. I highly recommend it. I don't do an awful lot of reading, but I definitely got hooked on those.
Dank.
Nice. Lastly but not least, Yellowman.
Well, honestly, I don't have a whole lot of time for other things outside of what I do. I'm a real life pilot, so I fly professionally a lot. So between doing that and I run a flight department, I train real pilots and not just pilots in the game at the airport near my house, running a flight training academy coordinated with my college. So doing that and finding time to play Eve, that's about my life.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. Not a whole lot of time for other things. Cool. Yeah, so yeah, definitely we appreciate you guys coming on. We've kind of had this one in the works for a few weeks now, but I'm glad we were finally able to get you guys all online at one time and kind of dive into what you guys got going on. I think it's pretty neat stuff, and I definitely want to give it a try someday, or maybe I'll just fleet up with you guys, figure out if you're doing some MPSI and roll with you guys.
If you do anything, get up with us when we do our CCDs. That's the funnest thing, where we'll get hundreds of players that maybe never fly with us, and they just come out just for that, when it's a 24-hour span of let's all fly around and shoot stuff.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So a few things we want to plug real quick before we start wrapping it up too much. Mike Azariah stopped by. I don't know if he's still in chat, but if he is, definitely want to give a shout out to the Magic School Bus. What Mike Azariah does is he flies around different starter systems, and he'll start talking to local and say, "Hey guys, I'm giving away some free ships. It's typically going to be T1 rookie ship with T1 modules are completely fitted, have ammunition for the most part." And it's going to be to whatever race system that he's going to. So if it's a Caldari system, he's going to be bringing Caldari ships and so on and so forth. So if you're paying attention local and you see Mike Azariah, he is not trying to scam you. He literally wants to give you free ships. It's okay. Don't be alarmed.
And he notes donations to fuel that surface. So if you have ISK or extra ships or modules, you can just donate it to the Magic School Bus operation.
Yeah, it's really neat, Met guys. He flies around in his bowhead. Everything's donation based. People from, I want to say it's the Angel Project, which is ran by Sindel Pelion, if I remember correctly. I know she donates a lot of stuff. Like Murdo said, if you got some extra ISKIs or some extra ships that you have just get rid of, go and donate it to Mike. Contract it over to him. That's Mike Azariah, and that is spelled A-Z. Let me check.
It slowly ruins and makes his life better. So
Yeah,
consider that.
So Mike, just regularly spelled M-I-K-E. Azariah is A-Z-A-R-I-A-H. Mike Azariah. Give that guy some love. All right. Also, apparently we now have 130 followers of the Mind Clash podcast as far as the Twitch stream goes. That's dope. I know we have, oh God, let me look in the Twitch chat right now. We've got 2 hosts, 9 Hall of Fames, 1 super awesome Patreon supporter, 2 CSM members. Online currently are 38 and offline is 47. So we got like 100 people inside the Discord server, and it's we usually have some pretty good chats inside there. So if you want to join us on the Discord, feel free to do so. The link is right below on the screen. So if you're looking, you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see that there's a link to the Discord.
Oh, that was much harder in the webcam than I expected.
You scrolled the webcam?
No. I tried to point. It was terrible.
That's my point. I had a good point. That's a really nice point I did.
Yeah, I failed.
All right, so yeah. Also, make sure you check us out on. So we're on iTunes. Please leave us some sort of rating if you want to do a 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, whatever. Say you guys suck. You want to throw eggs at us, whatever it is. Just give us something so that way we're more noticeable on iTunes. Also, check us out on our own RSS feed, as well as the CrossingZebras.com RSS feed. And literally, if you have a podcast app, all you have to search for is Mind Clash, 2 words, and you will find us. Subscribe, start downloading. We've got everything from episode 2 all the way up to now. We lost episode 1. I don't want to go there.
What?
I might have it somewhere. I think
it's probably bad. It was probably really bad.
Yeah.
We'll have to cut clips from it for episode 100. So save it till then.
So did I miss anything?
No. Thank you all for coming. Guests, people on Twitch, everyone who's listening in post. Thank you so much.
Yep. And if you have a Twitch, apparently me and Murdo are the only ones this evening who have a Twitch. Everyone else, a Twitter, excuse me. We're the only ones on the Twitter, so you know where we're at Keldud, Kel Decadence, and at Murdud_Eve. Also, don't forget we have a Patreon, patreon.com/mindclash. And so from all of us to you, have a good night and fly safe.
Or not.
Or not. Either way, we don't care.
Thanks for having us, guys. And come fly with us sometime.
Thanks, guys.
Sure.
I'm coming by to shoot you as soon as possible.
Yeah, actually, instead of fly with us, come by to shoot at us. That'll be fun too.